Aloha, welcome to the Dawn of Prophecy for this September 23rd, 2015. Today is Yom Kippur, officially here in America. May you be inscribed in the Book of Life. It is started yesterday in Israel, which is why I mentioned it. I like a full celebration, all that I can get. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement for man and woman, and the Day of Judgment for God. On the prophetic calendar and clock, we know that we are in the last seconds of the very last day. Don't be scared, be prepared. Today's topic is breaking news prophecy, how today's top headlines intersect and are fulfilling with God's Bible prophecies completely. As Christians, we're called to be watchmen warning others, a lighthouse shining truth so that many may live. And as Jesus said, if you see these things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door. What is it? The end for Christians, which is Jesus' second coming. He'll take us home, which means we're going. And so will the Spirit of God on earth. It will leave this earth. The end for Christians is the end of the world. So we must be ready. The question is, and this is an old one, it sounds kind of funny, but are we there yet? Number one in our top prophetic breaking headlines, wars and rumors of wars file for this 9/23/2015. China today documented as sending its military to Syria. This is a very troubling development, and it is just as their counterpart, Russia, has been documented to be doing for the last several weeks, sending its military and continuing to send armaments to Syria. This recently forced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to meet with Russia's President Putin to try to forge a weak deal in order to deflect the enemies, because Syria, as you know, is just a hop and skip of a stone's throw from Israel. It is a direct threat if they show up on the door. Now, how does this match up with God's word? Was it forecast? This would be the fulfilling of Bible prophecy in Ezekiel 38 and 39, where a horde army of the north descends upon the south with its target. Its eye is set upon Israel to attack Israel. This also fulfills Psalm 83, the Islamic alliance of all nations surrounding Israel's against Israel. She will stand alone, the Bible prophesies, for the last day. And by the way, Ezekiel was written over at about 586 BC, right after the fall of Jerusalem, and that's over 2,300 years ago. In addition, Psalm 83, which I also just referenced as Bible prophecy being fulfilled today, Psalm 83 is also in the Old Testament, and it was between the time of Moses in 1440 BC before Christ and Babylonian captivity in 586 BC, around the same time as Ezekiel, but far back to Moses. That's over 3,000 years old. That's exciting to know that God's word 3,000 years ago is coming true today in our time. Now, back to the topic at hand, with China and Russia descending upon Syria and possibly Israel. In related news, the Chinese president is in the U.S. currently in Seattle, and their Air Force last week buzzed one of our U.S. military craft in an incident that was very similar to one last year, where one of their jet fighters came within 20 feet and flashed their underbelly along with its weapon load so that we may see them. And of course, recently, cyber attacks from China upon the United States are relentless and continuing. Question here, is this saber rattling, as it's so called, or calling out the U.S. to war? We will see. President Obama has yet to confront Chinese president on any of these issues. Second in the headlines, after the wars and rumors of wars and the developments, dangerous developments, speaking of President Obama, he met today with Pope Francis, who is on his first trip to the United States. Interestingly, Pope Francis preached on climate control and illegal immigration, not on sin control and illegal immorality. He did not preach on the U.S. captives being held in Iran like Pastor Saeed or many other pastors, nor in China or other countries with Christian persecution, which is increasing all over. He did not speak on abortion or Planned Parenthood. Number 3 in the headlines today. Meanwhile, in global news of global money markets continue to crumble. Yesterday and today, Asian and American markets were down. Today, the Chinese Shanghai index was down 2.24%. That is a lot. The Japan Nikkei was down around 2%, and US ended just 50 points down after being down over 200 points. It kind of came back up, but not quite. Brazil was down a breathtaking 3%. That's down 1,250 points for the day. And Brazil, as you remember, was recently downgraded to junk. All in all, the U.S. has dropped into a correction, as financial managers call it. Last week, the Federal Reserve announced that it will not be increasing interest rates anytime soon, but it sent a mixed message that is resulting in a lot of confusion as well as fear and instability that we're now seeing in our markets. At the same time, Germany has taken a huge hit because of the Volkswagen emission scandal, the cheating scandal that caused its stocks to plummet a breathtaking 20% on Monday, that's this past Monday, and 17% yesterday on Tuesday. Its CEO resigned today, but the damage is done on Germany's already weak economy, and when you pair that with the huge tsunami of migrants taxing an already weak economy and social service system, this could be extremely damaging for Germany, for the European Union, and for the world. Now remember, and this is just a note to you, believer and watchwoman, watchman at the tower, Ezekiel 38 and 39 predicts the armies of the north will descend because of the hook in its mouth that will drag them to Israel. And as the world comes to its knees financially, we must remember that war is a money-making machine, and Satan is in the big business of steal, kill, and destroy. Be sure to keep an eye on these dangerous developments. With all of this said, always remember, and I am reminded daily by our living God, that God is sovereign. Though the Prince of Darkness has been given limited capabilities for a very short time, God, the King of Kings, the host of heaven's armies, is sovereign. God is in control, and he is working all things together for good for those of us who love him and are called to his purposes. Romans 8:31 says, if God is for us, who can be against us? As it does in Psalm 27, verse 1. Further, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Isaiah 54, verse 17. And today, on this Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the holy calendar, it is the day of atonement and the day of judgment. May you be written into the book of life. A friend of mine said when I posted that on my Facebook public page, he said, yes, it is Yom Kippur. Everything's going downhill from here. I have to disagree to a degree, and that is this, that yes, it will go downhill for many, but for many more who believe in God, if you're standing with him, it'll be a great day, an exciting time. It is humanity's greatest battle and Christianity's ultimate victory. Well, that wraps it up for today. The breaking prophecy news, headlines fulfilling God's lines written thousands of years ago. Stay informed and stay alert, stay awake. Prepare yourself and your house, your church. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, and I am praying for you diligently every day, friend. Thank you for watching this update. Please be sure to share it if it is helpful to you, that we may warn many, many others. And be about the Father's business. He returns quickly. Go, Team God.